Before starting the story, please subscribe to my channel and watch the video without skipping. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Thursday, August 14th, Lauren's favor, Daniel confesses, Nick recruited. Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Thursday, August 14, 2025. Fans can expect Christine Blair, Laura Lee Bell, to turn to Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, Tracy E. Bregman. Daniel Romalotti, Jr., Michael Graziadei, confesses to Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian. Plus, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, recruits Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Make sure to check out our weekly Y&R spoilers, here. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin's favor. Let's start off with Lauren, who reconnects with Christine. Fans know that Christine is engaged to Danny. They have a wedding to plan, so the favor that Christine asks must have something to do with that. Of course, Lauren will be thrilled to help out. Cricket. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Lauren Fenmore Baldwin is about to shake things up in Genoa City with a favor that could change the course of multiple storylines. For years, Lauren has been the stylish, savvy, and loyal presence who can always be counted on when friends or family need help. But this time, the favor she's being asked for might push her into risky territory, testing her loyalties and forcing her to choose between personal comfort and standing up for what's right. Lauren has a long history of navigating high-stakes business deals, romantic entanglements, and personal feuds, but lately, she's been more of a behind-the-scenes power player. As the co-owner of Fenmore's, she's connected to several of Genoa City's movers and shakers, from the Newmans to the Abbotts. Now, word is spreading that someone close to her is calling in a big favor, and it's not just about fashion or business, it's about personal redemption, damage control, and maybe even a second chance at love for someone who's lost it all. The question is, will this favor end up costing Lauren more than she bargained for? Sources close to the storyline hint that Michael Baldwin, Lauren's devoted husband, will have serious reservations about her involvement. Michael has seen enough schemes in this town to know that favors often come with strings attached, and he's not interested in watching his wife get caught in someone else's mess. He'll want to protect her, but Michael also knows Lauren is fiercely independent and not easily swayed once her mind is made up. The most intriguing rumor is that the favor could be connected to a high-profile Genoa City resident who is teetering on the edge of scandal. This could be someone like Phyllis Summers, who always seems to be one bad decision away from disaster, or even someone like Sally Spectra, whose ambitions sometimes land her in hot water. If it's Phyllis, Lauren's history with her makes this request particularly complicated. They've been friends, rivals, and co-conspirators over the years, but trust between them has been strained more than once. Would Lauren risk her own reputation to bail Phyllis out of trouble yet again? If the favor is for Sally, Lauren's decision might hinge on whether she sees a genuine chance for redemption or just another opportunistic ploy. Beyond friendships, there's also the possibility that this favor ties into corporate warfare. The battle between Jabot, Newman Enterprises, and Chancellor Winters has created alliances and rivalries that shift constantly. A well-timed favor from Lauren could tip the scales in a major business deal, but it could also make her a target for retaliation. Her connections in the fashion world and her impeccable reputation as a businesswoman make her an asset that any side would want on their team. Adding fuel to the fire, Fenmore's could be facing its own behind-the-scenes challenges. If Lauren's company is under pressure, she might be tempted to agree to a risky favor in exchange for protection, funding, or a strategic partnership. That kind of deal would place her in a morally gray zone, something Michael wouldn't approve of but might reluctantly accept if it meant safeguarding their family's legacy. Speaking of family, Lauren's son Fenmore, Fon Baldwin, has been keeping a low profile lately, but if the favor involves him, that would instantly explain Lauren's willingness to get involved. A mother's instinct to protect her child is strong, and Lauren has gone to great lengths before to shield Fon from scandal and heartbreak. If he's in trouble, she might not even think twice before jumping into action, no matter the risk. Another possibility is that the favor involves someone from her past, such as an old flame or a former business associate who has resurfaced with an urgent plea. This could open the door for storylines that explore Lauren's history, possibly bringing back familiar faces or revisiting old feuds. Longtime fans know that Lauren's life hasn't always been as stable as it appears today. She's survived stalkers, schemes, and betrayals. That resilience could be tested again if this favor pulls her into a dangerous situation. As whispers about this plot grow louder, it's becoming clear that whatever Lauren decides will have ripple effects across Genoa City. Her actions could put her at odds with major players like Victor Newman or Jack Abbott, both of whom are known for protecting their interests at any cost. It could also force her to re-examine her own boundaries when it comes to friendship, loyalty, and self-preservation. Michael's role in this will be critical. He's one of the sharpest legal minds in town, and if Lauren's favor turns messy, he'll be the one called upon to clean it up. But will he support her unconditionally, or will this test the foundation of their marriage? There's a chance we could see rare tension between the normally rock-solid couple, especially if Michael feels Lauren is being manipulated. On the flip side, the situation could also give them a chance to show why they're one of Genoa City's most enduring couples, working together to outsmart their adversaries and protect what matters most. In the coming weeks, fans can expect a mix of glamour, intrigue, and emotional stakes as Lauren's storyline takes center stage. Whether this favor turns out to be an act of kindness that strengthens relationships or a risky gamble that backfires spectacularly, one thing is certain: Lauren Fenmore Baldwin is stepping back into the spotlight, and when she does, everyone should pay attention. Genoa City has learned the hard way that underestimating Lauren is a mistake. She's more than just a fashion icon, she's a survivor, a strategist, and someone who knows exactly how to turn the tables when the odds are against her. The only real question left is, will this favor be her greatest act of friendship, or the start of a new war she never saw coming? Daniel Romalotti, Jr.'s confession. Meanwhile, Danny and Daniel will catch up. The father will gush about getting to marry the woman of his dreams. At some point, the conversation will turn to Daniel's heart. What is this? Fans already know that Daniel and Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, have been spending a lot of time together and have bonded. Daniel admits to his father that he might be developing romantic feelings for Tessa. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Daniel Romalotti, Jr.'s confession is about to send shockwaves through Genoa City, shaking up relationships, reigniting old tensions, and putting him directly in the line of fire. Daniel has been walking a tightrope for months now, balancing his work at Omega Sphere, his complicated feelings for Lily Winters, his past with Heather Stevens, and his role as a father to Lucy. But the weight of a secret he's been carrying is becoming too heavy to bear, and it's only a matter of time before he cracks. The question is, who will be on the receiving end of this confession, and will it bring redemption, devastation, or both? Daniel's journey back to Genoa City was supposed to be about a fresh start. After years of missteps, bad choices, and painful lessons, he returned determined to rebuild his life, his career, and his reputation. For a while, it seemed like he was succeeding. Omega Sphere was gaining traction, his co-parenting relationship with Heather was civil, and he found himself reconnecting with Lily in ways that stirred up feelings he thought were long buried. But underneath that calm surface, Daniel has been wrestling with something he hasn't told anyone: a decision, an encounter, or a mistake that could change everything. Speculation in Genoa City runs wild about what Daniel might be hiding. Some insiders believe it could be tied to a betrayal at Omega Sphere, perhaps involving stolen concepts or shady investors. Daniel has always been a creative visionary, but the business world is cutthroat, and it wouldn't be the first time a deal went south because of trust issues. If Daniel's confession involves him bending the rules to protect his project, it could put him at odds with Lily, who values integrity above all else. Others think Daniel's secret is far more personal. His relationships with Heather and Lily have been a constant emotional tug-of-war, and if Daniel crossed a line romantically, the fallout could be explosive. Imagine the devastation if Daniel admits to Heather that his heart still belongs to Lily, or worse, if he confesses to Lily that he and Heather shared a moment they shouldn't have. Love triangles in Genoa City have a way of pulling in half the town, and Daniel's confession could be the spark that reignites old rivalries and forces people to take sides. There's also the possibility that Daniel's secret involves his daughter, Lucy. Daniel is fiercely protective of her, and any threat to her happiness or safety would push him to extreme measures. If his confession reveals that he's been hiding something from Lucy to shield her from pain, it might put him in conflict with Heather over what's best for their child. Heather has never been afraid to call Daniel out when she thinks he's wrong, and this could test their fragile co-parenting arrangement. Michael Baldwin, Daniel's longtime family friend, might get drawn into the drama if legal consequences are involved. Michael's sharp instincts could help Daniel navigate the storm, but even he would have limits if Daniel's actions cross an ethical or legal line. On the business front, Daniel's confession could have ripple effects beyond his personal life. If Omega Sphere is compromised in any way, through financial mismanagement, intellectual property disputes, or sabotage, other power players like Victor Newman or Jill Abbott could swoop in to either exploit the weakness or offer a lifeline, each with their own agenda. That kind of interference could put Daniel in a position where he has to choose between saving his company and protecting the people he cares about. Adding more layers to the intrigue, Daniel's past isn't exactly spotless. His history includes reckless decisions, complicated romances, and moments of self-sabotage. If this confession ties back to something he did before returning to Genoa City, the shock value could be even greater. Old ghosts have a way of resurfacing at the worst possible time, and in a town like this, secrets rarely stay buried. The emotional impact of Daniel's confession will depend heavily on how he delivers it. Will it be a tearful admission in a private conversation, a dramatic outburst in the middle of a public confrontation, or a carefully planned disclosure meant to control the narrative? Each scenario carries different consequences. A private confession to Lily could deepen their bond if she chooses forgiveness, but a public revelation could cause humiliation and anger that might be impossible to repair. Fans are bracing for the possibility that Daniel's confession could set off a chain reaction involving several key players. Lily might find herself re-evaluating her feelings for Daniel and wondering if she can truly trust him. Heather could become more protective of Lucy and less willing to cooperate with Daniel. Even Phyllis Summers, Daniel's mother, might get pulled into the fray. Phyllis has a knack for meddling in her children's lives, often with disastrous results, and she wouldn't hesitate to go on the offensive if she thought Daniel was being unfairly judged. The beauty of Daniel's storyline is that it blends personal vulnerability with high-stakes drama. His confession, whatever it is, will force him to confront not only the reactions of those around him but also the person he sees in the mirror. Will this be a turning point where he learns from his mistakes and comes out stronger, or will it spiral into another chapter of regret and damage control? As Genoa City braces for the fallout, one thing is certain: Daniel Romolati, Jr. is stepping into the center of a storm, and the truth he's been holding back has the power to change the game for everyone in his orbit. Viewers will have to stay glued to see who stands by him, who turns away, and how this confession will reshape the landscape of love, loyalty, and ambition in The Young and the Restless. Mariah Copeland's crisis. While they are both technically single, Daniel will worry about the timing. Tessa isn't even divorced yet. There is also a possibility that Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, will get her act together and reunite with Tessa. At the same time, Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom, death has shown Daniel to seize the moment. The next day is never guaranteed. So, he might feel compelled to act on it but won't want to risk his friendship with Tessa. Back with Mariah, is she really getting therapy? She seems to be looking for any excuse to distance herself from everyone, including Sharon Newman, Sharon Case. Is Mariah going to get better, or could she be headed on another downward spiral? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Mariah Copeland's crisis is about to rock not only her own world but also the lives of those closest to her, putting her relationship, career, and family bonds to the ultimate test. Mariah has always been known for her resilience. She survived being kidnapped, manipulated, and betrayed, and she's learned to stand tall even when life tries to knock her down. But this time, the challenges coming her way are more complex and emotionally layered than anything she's faced before, threatening to pull her into a spiral that she might not be able to escape without making life-changing decisions. At the heart of Mariah's crisis is a brewing storm involving her personal life with Tessa Porter and their daughter, Aria. Parenthood has brought Mariah immeasurable joy, but it has also exposed cracks in her emotional armor. Raising a child together while juggling demanding careers hasn't been easy, and the pressure has been mounting for months. Mariah's fierce independence sometimes clashes with Tessa's more diplomatic approach, and recent disagreements have left both women on edge. What starts as small, seemingly manageable arguments about parenting styles or scheduling conflicts could quickly escalate into a rift that tests the strength of their marriage. Adding to the strain is the possibility that Mariah might be facing a career crisis. Her work at Jabot has been a source of pride and stability, but rumors in Genoa City suggest that corporate shakeups could threaten her position. If a high-powered Newman or Abbott decides to restructure the company, Mariah could find herself out of a job or forced into a role that doesn't align with her values. The thought of losing her professional footing while trying to provide for her family could push Mariah into making risky moves, possibly even accepting help from people she doesn't fully trust. Complicating matters further is a situation involving her mother, Sharon Newman. Sharon has always been a central figure in Mariah's life, but lately, Sharon has been caught up in her own whirlwind of drama, romantic entanglements, business ventures, and lingering emotional baggage. If Sharon needs Mariah's help, Mariah could find herself torn between being there for her mother and focusing on her own family's needs. This emotional tug-of-war could leave her feeling stretched too thin, leading to mistakes or decisions she might regret. Another potential source of turmoil comes from Mariah's twin, Cassie, or rather the lingering emotional wounds from her loss. While Cassie has been gone for years, moments of high stress often trigger Mariah to reflect on her sister's absence and the complicated dynamics of living in her shadow. With everything piling up, Mariah's grief could resurface in unexpected ways, leaving her feeling disconnected and vulnerable. In soap fashion, no crisis is complete without outside interference, and in Mariah's case, that could come from someone like Audra Charles or even Adam Newman, two individuals who thrive in chaos and might see Mariah's vulnerability as an opportunity. If someone offers Mariah a deal or a way out of her predicament, she might be tempted to take it, not realizing the strings attached until it's too late. Tessa's role in this crisis will be crucial. She has always been Mariah's anchor, but even anchors can be tested in rough seas. Will Tessa stand by Mariah unconditionally, or will the mounting tension cause a rift between them? Fans know that Tessa has her own career ambitions and challenges, and if she feels that Mariah's decisions are jeopardizing their stability, she could push back in ways Mariah doesn't expect. This could lead to a rare but deeply emotional confrontation between the two, a moment that forces them to decide whether they're truly on the same path or drifting apart. The impact on Aria will also be a focal point. While she's too young to understand the complexities of adult problems, any strain between her parents will inevitably affect her home environment. Mariah's maternal instincts will kick in full force, making her even more determined to find solutions, but the fear of failing her daughter could become another source of anxiety. Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore Baldwin could also become involved if Mariah's job at Jabot is threatened, given their influence and connections. Meanwhile, Abby Newman Abbott could offer support or advice, given her shared history with Mariah as part of the surrogacy storyline, though Abby's own loyalties might complicate matters. Longtime viewers will recall that Mariah has a tendency to bottle up her emotions until they explode, leading to impulsive actions. This crisis could push her to that breaking point, creating a scenario where she makes a bold, risky move that shocks everyone. Whether it's a sudden career change, a major shift in her relationship, or a public stand against a powerful Genoa City figure, Mariah's choices will have ripple effects across the canvas. What makes this storyline so compelling is the balance between emotional vulnerability and fierce determination. Mariah's journey through this crisis will likely force her to confront old fears, reassess her priorities, and redefine what stability means for her and her family. She could emerge from this stronger than ever, or she could find herself facing consequences that change the trajectory of her life for good. The coming weeks promise high drama, heartfelt moments, and unexpected twists as Mariah navigates the challenges ahead. From tense family dinners to heated boardroom battles, to quiet moments of reflection where she wonders if she's strong enough to handle it all, viewers will be taken on an emotional roller coaster. In true Genoa City fashion, the resolution will not be neat or easy, but for Mariah Copeland, that's nothing new. The real question is whether she can turn this crisis into an opportunity for growth, or whether it will be the storm that finally knocks her off her feet. Either way, one thing is certain: when Mariah is pushed to her limits, the results are never boring, and this chapter in her life will be one fans won't forget. Nick Newman recruited. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, August 14th reveal that Victor will put a plan in motion towards an enemy. This is clearly Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. The patriarch will need a little help, though. Victor ends up asking Nick to take part in this plan. What is this? Read this: The Young and the Restless spoilers, Kane whodunit brewing, Ashby seriously hurt in a twisted mystery? The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Nick Newman is about to be pulled into a high-stakes situation that will test his loyalty, challenge his moral code, and possibly change the course of his life in Genoa City. For years, Nick has tried to balance his deep-rooted loyalty to his family with his desire to forge his own path away from the ruthless tactics of Newman Enterprises. But this time, someone is making a calculated effort to recruit him into a mission, whether corporate, personal, or even dangerous, that he may not be able to walk away from. Nick has always been the good Newman in the eyes of many, the one who tries to do what's right even when it's not the easiest option. But he's also no stranger to the games that come with being Victor Newman's son. The challenge now is that this recruitment could pull him back into the very world he's tried to avoid. Victor has been known to pull strings behind the scenes, and if he wants Nick on board for a major Newman Enterprises move, the pressure could be intense. Nick has walked away before, but this time the stakes might involve family protection, a dangerous rival, or even the future of the Newman legacy itself. One possibility is that Victor sees trouble brewing with Adam Newman or another external threat and wants Nick's level head in the room to balance out the more volatile personalities. If Victor is playing a long game against a business rival like Jack Abbott or an outside corporate shark, Nick's business experience and sense of integrity could be key. But Nick may sense that agreeing to help comes with hidden costs he's not sure he's willing to pay. Another theory is that this recruitment comes from someone outside of the family entirely. Imagine if Jack Abbott or even Chancellor Winters reached out to Nick for his expertise, offering him a position that could take him far from Newman control. This could put him at odds with Victor, who doesn't take kindly to Newman family members working for the competition. Choosing to accept such an offer would create immediate tension and could spark an all-out Newman civil war. There's also the possibility that the recruitment isn't about business at all, but something far more personal and dangerous. If law enforcement or someone like Chancellor needed Nick's help in an investigation involving Newman Enterprises or a threat to someone close to him, Nick would have to weigh the risk to his own safety against the need to protect those he cares about. Nick's moral compass has always made him the family member most likely to break ranks when he thinks it's the right thing to do, but this time, walking away might not be an option. His love life could also play into the decision. Sally Spectra has been a complicated presence in Nick's life, and if the recruitment involves something that affects her future or her business, Nick could be even more inclined to get involved. On the flip side, if this move brings him back into close quarters with Sharon Newman, old feelings could resurface in ways that cloud his judgment. Sharon's steady influence could either help Nick keep his head clear, or remind him of a simpler time when he wasn't constantly being pulled into Newman battles. Meanwhile, Nikki Newman might quietly try to influence her son's decision. Nikki has always wanted peace in the family, but she knows that sometimes aligning with Victor is the safest place to be. Her subtle encouragement, or warnings, could help sway Nick one way or the other. Adam's reaction could be explosive if he feels Nick's recruitment pushes him aside. The sibling rivalry between Nick and Adam is a simmering powder keg, and any hint that Nick is being favored over Adam could trigger another round of battles that spill out into both business and personal arenas. The emotional weight of this decision is heavier than it appears. Nick has spent years carving out an identity as a father first, a businessman second, and a Newman last. But this recruitment might force him to flip those priorities, at least temporarily. The tension between his sense of duty and his desire for independence will be front and center, making for some of the most emotionally charged scenes he's had in years. As Genoa City watches closely, the people around Nick will each have their own stakes in what he decides. Victoria may see his recruitment as a way to solidify her position at Newman if they work together, or as a threat if she thinks he's being positioned as her replacement. Phyllis Summers, never one to shy away from inserting herself into a Newman mess, might offer Nick unsolicited advice, especially if she sees an angle where she can benefit. In the coming weeks, expect the recruitment effort to intensify, with both subtle persuasion and overt pressure coming at Nick from multiple directions. The slow build-up will allow viewers to see Nick weigh his options, consult his inner circle, and wrestle with the reality that there may be no perfect choice. Will he step back into the Newman empire, knowing it could cost him his peace of mind? Will he align with an outside force, risking his standing with his family? Or will he try to play both sides, a dangerous gamble in a town where divided loyalties almost always end in disaster? No matter which path Nick chooses, the fallout will be far-reaching. His decision could shift alliances, reignite rivalries, and change the balance of power in Genoa City. And if the recruitment comes with secrets he wasn't told up front, Nick could find himself in deeper than he ever intended, forced to use every bit of his cunning, charm, and moral conviction to navigate a storm that's been brewing for longer than anyone realizes. The only certainty right now is that Nick Newman is being pulled into a game where the rules are unclear, the stakes are high, and the players are ruthless. And when it comes to the young and the restless, that's exactly the kind of setup that turns into unforgettable drama. Thursday, August 14, 2025. Since Nick has so much rage built up toward Kane, I could see him going for it. I wonder if Nick will end up regretting this later, though. Could we see Nick turn dark while Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, becomes the next good son? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Thursday, August 14, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next.